In the quiet hush of my grandmother's attic, amidst forgotten treasures and the scent of old wood, I found it. A camera. Not just any camera, but a relic, bound in worn leather, its lens clouded with the dust of decades. Tucked beside it was a small, yellowed note. The ink faded, but the words clear. This camera doesn't take pictures. It captures moments you've forgotten. My heart skipped a beat. A thrill, a mix of skepticism and wonder coursed through me. What did it mean? Driven by a curiosity I couldn't ignore, I picked it up. It felt heavy, solid, a vessel of untold stories. I aimed it at the dusty attic window, the sunlight filtering through in golden shafts. And with a hesitant finger, I pressed the shutter. Click. A soft, ethereal flash filled the room. Not a harsh burst of light, but a gentle glow. I pulled out the photograph, my hands trembling slightly as the image began to develop. But what appeared wasn't the attic window. It was a scene from my own past, a memory I hadn't revisited in years. There I was, a small boy with scraped knees, laughing uncontrollably as my father pushed me on a swing in our old backyard. The sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. I could almost feel the warm breeze, hear my own high-pitched laughter, smell the freshly cut grass. It was impossible. Yet the proof was right there in my hands. The note was true. It resurrected memories. I was hooked. I spent the rest of the day in a whirlwind of clicks and flashes, each photograph a portal to a different corner of my life. Click. The first day of school. I saw my tiny self clutching a backpack bigger than my torso. A nervous smile on my face as my mother knelt to tie my shoelaces. I remembered the fear, the excitement, the new crayon smell of my classroom. Click. A rainy afternoon. My sister and I huddled under a fortress of blankets and chairs in the living room, our faces illuminated by a flashlight as we told ghost stories. The sound of rain drumming against the window pane echoed a comforting, rhythmic beat. Click. My father, patient and encouraging, holding the back of my bicycle as I wobbled down the street for the first time without training wheels. I saw the look of pride on his face just before he let go, the moment I found my balance and pedaled into my own small piece of freedom. Some memories were pure joy, others were tinged with a bittersweet ache. A family dinner where my grandparents were still with us, their laughter filling the room. The awkward slow dance at my first school, formal. A quiet moment sitting with my dog, his head resting peacefully on my lap, long before we had to say goodbye. Each photo was a ghost, a beautiful, haunting echo of a moment I thought was lost forever. Days turned into weeks. The attic became my sanctuary, the camera my constant companion. I was an archaeologist of my own soul, digging up forgotten artifacts of my past. But as the pile of photographs grew, a new feeling began to creep in. I was so engrossed in looking back, I felt like I was losing my grip on the present. Was I just meant to live in these captured moments forever? Then, one evening, as I stood surrounded by the mosaic of my life spread across the floor, I had an idea. I aimed the camera not at a window, not at a dusty corner, but at my own reflection in a large, ornate mirror that leaned against the wall. I hesitated. What would it show? A memory of me looking in a mirror. I took a deep breath and clicked. The flash was brighter this time, warmer. As the image developed, my breath caught in my throat. It wasn't me from the past. It was me from the future. An older version of myself, with lines of laughter and wisdom etched around his eyes. He was smiling, a look of profound contentment on his face. And he wasn't alone in the reflection. He was standing in a brightly lit gallery, and all around him, on the walls, were my photographs, beautifully framed. People milled about, pointing, smiling, some with tears in their eyes. Underneath it all, a banner read, "The days we forgot." Tears streamed down my own face. It wasn't just about reliving my past. It was about sharing it. It was about reminding others of their own forgotten days. The camera wasn't just for me. It was for everyone. Inspired and with a newfound purpose, I began to work. I carefully selected the most evocative photographs, printed them, and framed them. I rented a small gallery space and hung each memory with care. On opening night, I was terrified. Would anyone understand? They did. People from all walks of life came. They saw my first day of school and remembered their own. They saw my family dinner and recalled the faces of their loved ones. An elderly woman cried softly before the picture of my father teaching me to ride a bike, whispering, "That was my father, too." A young couple laughed at the blanket fort, squeezing each other's hands. The gallery wasn't just my story anymore. It was a shared human experience, a collective sigh of remembrance. The days we forgot became a place where strangers connected through the universal language of memory. Years passed. My hair grayed and my steps slowed. The gallery flourished, a testament to the power of looking back to appreciate the now. One day, I picked up the old camera, its leather even more worn, its magic feeling fainter. I aimed it at the window and clicked. Nothing happened. The flash was gone. Its work was done. I climbed the familiar, creaky stairs back to the attic. I placed the camera back in its box, right where I had found it so long ago. I took out a fresh piece of paper and a pen, and beside the original note, I left my own. A message for the next person to stumble upon this incredible gift. It read, "For the next dreamer, don't just take pictures. Remember them, because our memories aren't meant to be trapped in the past. They're the fuel that propels us with gratitude and love into the future." Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If this story touched you, I'd be so grateful if you liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories that explore the magic in the everyday.